just very sad story early this morning as we have learned that a young teenager has died in what appears to be the crossfire of some sort of gang-related shooting. We are live in Linwood right now. I want to show you across the street from where we are standing. You see a lot of the evidence markers on the ground. That is the street that police believe there was some sort of gunfire exchange. One of the most important lessons is learning just simply how to put all this gear on. It is 70 pounds. It is really heavy and it is really hot. And we haven't even gone to the fire yet. And that's what you're hearing from a lot of people. They just simply cannot afford the services. Either they don't have insurance or they are underinsured. And that is, of course, what's bringing them here today. They are going to look into increasing their fencing and things like that on the property to keep little guys like Romeo here safe. This is one of those fires that you really can see from the 5 freeway. You'll see the smoke sort of up in the distance. And as we were coming up here right before sunrise, you could see the flames sort of flickering. But the good news is they're actually deep down in a canyon. The canyon, that is right here behind me. We're up on Chicory Court here in Stevenson Ranch. You can see some of the smoke over there in the distance. A little bit further out now is where that fire does continue to burn, but it has moved away from the homes. But look at all this acreage. Look at all of this brush that is now blackened because of this fire. In all, about 800 acres did burn. We're still saying 15% containment, that could come up. And then look how close it got to this residential neighborhood. I mean, these hedges right here, right next to this home, completely burned. The home now pink. That's the fire retardant that was dumped on top of it to save it. If it isn't this beautiful, you see the Queen Mary behind me. We rounded up some ice skaters here early this morning, and I got the Penguin to help me get around. Because I haven't been on ice skates in a while. Plus, we're doing one of my favorite things, which is shopping. Take a look at this line. We are in front of Kate Spade right now, and one of my new favorite friends is Christy Pham. And how long have you been out here, Christy?
This is our first stop this morning.
Really?
So 8 minutes. Yeah.
That's okay. What made you want to come here first?
This is a family tradition now.
This is one of my favorite events each and every year. We are live outside the Dream Center, and take a look at the line that's already here. We probably got 50 people or so, and I'm guessing they got a few more in their cars. But look at these 3 little muffins laid out on the sidewalk. Their mom tells me they got here at 1 o'clock this morning. The hostage part of this situation is over. They believe that they have located everyone, and everyone is safe and sound. More voters. Oh no, we're still not done. Take a look all the way back, continually wraps all the way around again, all the way to Magnolia. I mean, it's just crazy. There are several hundred voters in line here right now. You're looking at several hours wait if you're going to come down here to vote. This is one of 5 voting locations here in Los Angeles County where folks can vote today and tomorrow for early voting. And I'm going to come and pick on one of these voters over here, Joshua Finkel, from Studio City. Thanks for being my victim this half hour, I guess. You're kind of a sitting duck, though. You've been in line for quite some time.
Yes, we have. And I was like, I should have worn longer pants, but it's okay.
Look, see how far it's moved already? We won't let you hold up the line anymore. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But, I mean, that's what you're hearing out here. People aren't mad because the lines are long. They're actually kind of excited about it, and they're excited to be here. Really finding friendships and a lot of love that comes out of it. And the race is going to start here in about 20 minutes or so. But it's not raining. Right? No, I don't see any rain. I don't know what's going on. So for now, I'll send it back to you guys. We're live at Dodger Stadium. We have learned that the man is a veteran. He is a father. We're told he moved into this apartment right across the street not too long ago. But they describe a very troubled story of someone who was having a hard time. And unfortunately, we are told he lost his life here late last night. It was a frightening scene in this Long Beach community. A man pacing, waving a knife, seemingly warning his neighbors.
Crossfire. He looked over this way and said, watch for crossfire.
LaFrance Pitts recorded this video.
And he had the knife, but he was he was pointing it like a gun.
Other neighbors also rushed outside.
I said, my name is James. Do you need assistance? Do you need to talk to someone? He said, someone's going to die tonight. I'm going to die tonight.
Within the hour, he did.
Drop the knife!
And they said to him 3 times, sir, put the knife down, put the knife down. We're going to kill you. And then Then 2 seconds later on, they shot him basically 5 times.
He was shot and killed by Long Beach police officers just feet from his front door. But the incident started an hour before. Investigators say the man called police saying he had a gun, saying he wanted to commit suicide by cop.
He says, I need to talk to somebody.
This neighbor didn't want to speak on camera, but says the man who died is Jose Romero. She saw him hours before, but first met him at the VA hospital.
He said he was in medication. He didn't like what it was doing to him.
She says the Army veteran served overseas and struggled lately with mental health and addiction issues. He just moved here, a father, a husband, having a hard time trying to get help.
He was doing something right. Apparently something went wrong.
And that brings us back to Sunday night.
He said, my wife won't return my calls.
Clearly distraught, witnesses say Romero charged at officers.
I thought he had a gun, and the way he was walking so fast.
But this morning, the community is divided on what could have been done.
They couldn't use rubber bullets.
If I was in their position, I would have reacted the same way.
But regardless of their differences, these neighbors agree they wish this veteran found the help he needed before any of this happened.
It's very sad.
Just a very sad situation for many reasons, and you can see a small memorial is starting to grow out here on the street as folks are stopping by who did know him and trying to pay their respects for the fact that he was a veteran and that he is no longer here. As for the investigation into the officer-involved shooting, right now several departments are looking into this, including the homicide department here in Long Beach and the district attorney's office. So, of course, more information will come out about that in the next coming days. I'll send it back to you guys.
Joy, thank you. A very sad story.
Getting a perfect picture with Santa is never easy.
Come sit in my chair.
But for Nathan's mom, it hasn't even been an option.
He has ADHD, so it's very tough for him to stay still.
7-year-old Nathan sometimes needs a little more time.
Come tell Santa what you want for Christmas.
But that's okay, because these other kids are nervous too.
My son was a little bit scared about Santa, and he was crying and making tantrums.
But Jonathan is all smiles now.
Santa!
What did you do with Santa?
Santa's coming windy.
Jonathan has autism.
He doesn't like that much of people in a row or waiting.
That makes most shopping centers off limits during the holidays, which is why Citadel Outlets held a Santa Cares event, so all kids feel welcome.
They should be loved unconditionally. All of them. They're all beautiful.
But in order for Santa to have some very special visitors, he did have to make some changes to his house, like the fact that there's no line.
I honestly think it's great. I love that they actually do things like this for kids with, just special needs.
Instead, parents made reservations, got a number, and then waited in a waiting area for their turn.
Do you want to sit on Santa? Okay, you don't have to.
It's really hard for him to really connect with anybody.
Juan also has autism.
It's really overwhelming for him.
But since Santa knew he was coming, he turned off his lights and made sure there was no music playing either.
The noise level for him, I always have to carry a noise cancellation headphones because sometimes it gets a lot.
That's a good trick, isn't it?
And after a little warm-up,
okay.
Things went just fine.
Say tamale.
Big smiles and a perfect picture.
This is actually his best moment ever.
And remember Nathan? Although it took him a little longer, he eventually was whispering with Santa about his Christmas dreams. Moments these parents say fulfilled theirs.
Merry Christmas!
Joy Benedict, CBS 2 News. The sounds of holiday travel took on a twist in LAX.
It's a little crowded.
The most crowded it's ever been. 1.2 million travelers this holiday weekend, 100,000 cars every day. That meant extra traffic officers and an added visual presence by the LA Airport Police.
It makes me feel comfortable to know that I'm secure and they're taking the job seriously.
And officers assure us they are. There was a threat already made this weekend, which included LAX. Officers say it was made online and warned of attacks on planes traveling from London to the U.S. The threat was deleted, and officers don't believe it to be credible. Nonetheless, after this week's attack in Turkey and extra travelers expected, airport police already boosted security. Uniformed officers could be seen at every terminal. Bomb-sniffing dogs worked all day, and travelers say the TSA appeared to be even more diligent.
I am glad for the extra security, and even if it takes a little longer to get through the lines.
Of course, we all know the drill. IDs checked, shoes off, bags on the belt, but Renee Garcia says things were different but she didn't mind.
When they pulled my bags aside to go through them, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. So where before it might have been a little irritating.
But it's not just the officers that you see, it's the ones that you don't see, including those that are undercover and the ones monitoring the 3,000 cameras in and around the airport.
I'm not the kind to live in fear. So, I mean, that's what they want us to do.
But there was no fear here today.
No, it just makes me pray harder.
Despite the threats and recent violence, they came by car, by plane, by the thousands. Our gateway to the world didn't shut down. In celebration of our independence and a sign of our strength, it just got busier. Joy Benedict, CBS 2 News. Friday is, of course, about previewing all the cars, and right now we are inside the IMSA Tech tent. You can't tell right now, but they're actually looking to make sure that this vehicle meets all the standards that are needed for its race tomorrow. Just a handful of the hundreds of people working on these cars this weekend. There is a roar near the shores, colorful blurs between makeshift walls driving fast, drawing crowds for the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Up close, they are all power.
Here at Long Beach, our top speed is probably 140, 145.
Tommy Milner and Ollie Gavin team drive this souped-up Corvette in the IMSA series, but they say the car has actually been slowed down from what you can buy.
The street car actually has more horsepower than we do, but the rules stipulate that the cars all have the same amount of horsepower, so we have to balance the Porsche, the Ferrari, BMW with us.
Those lesser vehicles.
Correct, exactly.
In the last 12 months, they've won Daytona, Sebring, and Le Mans, but say the streets of Long Beach give them an extra challenge.
Street circuits are always fun, you know, it's bumpy, it's different surfaces, it's asphalt, it's concrete.
Also looking for a challenge, actor turned celebrity driver Ricky Schroeder.
Are you kidding? You get to be like a kid again and just sort of live a dream just for a weekend and be a race car driver.
Schroeder clearly also has dreams of becoming a news reporter, and once he stuffed me in a car.
How does it feel in there?
It feels really tight and small.
Yeah, and do you feel safe?
No. Took off to find some more answers.
How fast does it go?
About 180 here. 180?
180.
So compared to the Celica, what's the Celica, or whatever you guys
112 on the straight.
At least he hopes. This is the 40th and final year for the celebrity race, and everyone wants to win.
They basically invited all the previous winners from the past 39 years. So they said I was one of the first to respond.
Fast on the sign up and hopefully fast on the course. I eventually got out of the car.
Very graceful.
And the celebrities and pros got in them, hitting the road, hoping for a win. And of course, in addition to the drivers and the technicians and the news reporters, look at this. All of these crowds, lots of folks coming down here to Long Beach to take a look at these cars. Of course, rates are discounted today. Those tickets are, with the races starting tomorrow, and children under the age of 12 are always free. Rick and Sharon, I know you're jealous that I got in that car.
Yeah, that's neat. All right.
It's really cool.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Joy.
Joy. I'm glad she got out okay.
I know.
Yeah. She was wedged in there
I'm glad
pretty
they
good.
didn't let her drive.